The third milestone is often referred to as intentional or purposeful two-way communication. This means that a child is showing intent or purpose with their gestures, grabbing, looking, pointing, pulling, smiling, frowning, shaking, etc., using different versions and types of communicative gestures to impact the social environment around them. So it means directing these gestures to another person. So if a child moves a car, just in terms of play, and moves it around the ground floor space, then they are being intentional with their body and with their ideas, but they're not necessarily doing it in a social manner. However, if they move the car towards or away from a person who might be driving their car towards them, now we have purpose within a social exchange. It's also important we look at both sides of these exchanges and reciprocity. Children often learn to be responsive first. You think of the baby. Now, as children progress in their abilities to communicate and as they get a little bit older, not only are we looking for responsiveness to affective signaling, but we're also looking for initiation, where the child might actually start shaking the bars on their crib to get their caregiver's attention. And now they're the ones starting the communicative pattern, and the caregiver comes over to see what's going on and closes the circle. In this milestone, we're primarily looking, is the child being purposeful with their responses and initiations, with their opening and closing of circles, with the caregiver or other people within the social environment. Unfortunately, with most adult-led therapies, where the adult is showing the child or telling the child or teaching the child what to do, a child becomes very good at being responsive. However, they struggle then learning to initiate. And as a result, they find inappropriate ways of initiating. And we see this across the board with children who have done a lot of adult-led, highly structured activities in therapies where there's hand-over-hand modeling, prompting, and a lot of adult-led teaching. And unfortunately, the child becomes very good at being responsive because that's what they're practicing. However, they actually aren't being given opportunities to be assertive and initiate, and as a result, they tend to seek them out inappropriately. So this is a child who comes up, instead of getting your attention by tapping you on the leg and taking you over to the toys, they flip the lights on and off, they open and close the door, they go and knock over the cup that's sitting right next to you as you're talking to someone else. A child has to learn to be very purposeful with their responses as well as their initiations in a constructive manner, not a destructive manner.